I never thought my life would come to this point where I would be so viciously betrayed by my husband, who I had loved and trusted for years. I've been married to my husband for almost 3 years now, after dating for 4 years, so we've been together for almost a decade now. While we were dating, he had a gambling problem. It got pretty bad for a while and we almost broke up over it, but he honestly put in work to recover and really got his act together. By the time we got married, I was convinced that he would never put us through those difficult times again. Boy, was I wrong. Our third wedding anniversary is coming up in a few months, but I'm hoping we'll be divorced before that. Recently, I found out that he had gone behind my back and taken debt in my name, and my whole life turned upside down. I was planning to start a family with this man, and he had slipped back into his gambling habits, completely blindsiding me and lying to my face for months. I'm left with a huge financial burden that I couldn't handle, and I knew that I had to take drastic steps to protect myself and my future. So I'm getting a divorce to get rid of this man once and for all. It all started when I received a call from a debt collector asking me to repay a loan that I had no idea about. I was shocked and confused, and I immediately confronted my husband about it. He tried to play it off, saying that it was a mistake, but I knew that something was off. I started digging around and found out that he had taken out several loans and credit cards in my name without my knowledge or consent. He had even forged my signatures on multiple documents. I was devastated. Not only was I left with a mountain of debt, but my credit score was also ruined. I knew that I couldn't continue living like this, so I demanded a divorce. My husband was initially trying to fight my decision, but he knew that he had messed up. He didn't fight me on it, and we started the process of getting a divorce. Meanwhile, I had to go through hell with the debt collectors and the bank. I had to alert everyone about this being a case of identity theft and even filed a police report because some of the banks required a police report. Simply put, it was the worst time of my life, and I still get nightmares about the whole situation. The divorce is still not finalized, and the amount of legal complications I'm in is just insane to even think about. With the help of my lawyer, I started the process of separating my finances from my husband's. It was a long and difficult process, but I knew that it was necessary. I also worked with the debt collectors to negotiate a payment plan that I could afford. It wasn't easy, but I was determined to get out of debt and start fresh. So all this has been going on for the last 5 months. But the reason I'm writing this post is that last week my husband's business partner showed up at my door out of the blue. I've known him for a while now because he's an old friend of my ex's, and they've been in business together for the last few years. I am by no means close to him, though, so when I opened the door and saw him standing there, I had no idea what to expect. He apologized for showing up randomly and then started thanking me for what I had done, and I was just baffled. So, long story short, apparently, my husband and this guy had been stealing from the business as well, but they had been covering it up well. But now that my husband has identity theft and financial fraud on his record, it would be easy for his partner to get him kicked out of the company. He had apparently covered his tracks well, but I knew that if information about stealing went out, it would be over for both of them. But with my husband out of the picture, it was going to be easy to kick him out and take control of the business without anyone finding out about what the two of them were up to, because everyone will be preoccupied with the active cases against him. After telling me all this, he thanked me again for standing up for myself. But then he said something completely unexpected. He offered to help me pay my debts and get me closer to a fresh start for a life without my husband. In return, I just had to agree to meet the board members of the company and give my account of things. He assured me that this would be done in secret and that my husband wouldn't find out about any of this. He then said I could take a few days to think about it and left. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My husband had not only ruined my financial future, but also put his own business at risk while I was completely clueless. I was angry, hurt, and confused, but at the same time, I'm very tempted. I have just started to take control of my life, and he definitely is in a financial position to make things right. Now, the reason I'm writing this post is because I'm a little wary of my ex's business partner, to say the least. This guy had no problem stealing from his own business and backstabbing his business partner. I don't even know why he wants to help me, and I'm afraid he has ulterior motives. At the same time, I am in desperate need of money because at this point, it would probably take me years to get my finances under control, and this could potentially ruin my future forever. As for the deal with my ex-husband's business partner, I want to make it clear that I will not tolerate any illegal or unethical behavior. I'm tired of secrets, and at this point, I have no idea if I can even trust him. Any advice would be appreciated because I really have no one to talk to. Update 1. Thank you for all your support. I was expecting people to be mean, but almost all of you have been very kind. It was also great to hear that other people have been through similar things. I'm so sorry to hear that, but thank you for sharing your stories. I don't feel like I'm the only one. I've also gotten tons of questions. I couldn't go through all the comments, but I'll answer a few. I own a small home baking business, so I'm self-employed. My ex-husband had always been the one to handle all our finances. He paid the bills, he handled the mortgage for our house and everything. I understand now that wasn't very smart of me, but honestly, that's just how things turned out in the relationship, and I never questioned it. We don't have any children, which I'm incredibly thankful for now because that would have made things so much worse than they are right now. Many people asked if there was no way for me to get the loans forgiven. Unfortunately, the laws around spousal identity theft aren't very strong, and although most of the lenders have agreed to be flexible with the repayments, since everything is under my name, I have to pay the loans myself. As for taking legal action against my husband, I simply cannot afford that. The mountain of debt I am under hardly leaves anything for me to get by, let alone an expensive lawsuit. It's unfair, but those are the cards I've been dealt with. I'm still thinking about the offer made by his business partner. The guy is definitely shady, but at this point, I don't have a lot of options anyway. I might just go ahead and take the money. I'll deal with the consequences later if any appear. Update 2. Hi guys. It's been a few days since my last update, and I've contacted my ex's business partner and let him know that I'm willing to cooperate with him and speak with the board members. I'm still wary of him, and I think he can tell because he keeps reassuring me that this will be a one-time thing and that he'll never reach out to me after this. We've discussed quite a bit about the money, and the amount he's offering will pay nearly half of my debt off. I don't think I even need to say anything about what a huge blessing that would be to me. I know this is probably a risk, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. I mean, I'm already pretty much in the worst position I've ever been in my life, so I think it would be smart to just take the money. I just hope my ex doesn't find out about this little arrangement and everything goes smoothly without the two of us interacting. Update 3. I've been getting constant requests from you guys about an update. Sorry it took me so long, but I've just been caught up with everything. I'll keep things brief and hopefully I'll cover most of your questions. I did attend the meeting with the board members and told them everything with all the evidence I could get. This obviously painted my ex in a very bad light, and he has been asked to resign from his post. I see this as a win, although this is nothing compared to what he did to me. It is still immensely satisfying. I did receive the money almost immediately after the meeting, and I'm so happy to say that I paid off some of the debtors. My ex's business partner even offered to help me with a lawsuit against my husband, but I've decided that it's best to keep a distance from him. As of now, my ex has no idea about my involvement with him, getting sacked, and I'd like to keep it that way. We're also officially divorced now, which is a huge relief. I'm happy to say that I got the house in the divorce. This is a huge help because I can handle my business as usual and try to expand because I need the money much more than I did when I was married. My finances are still ruined and my credit score is destroyed. I don't even know how long it'll take me to recover, but I'm hopeful that I'll get through this. I hope this nightmare helps you guys to remember to always keep a very close eye on your finances and avoid the stupid mistakes I made. Thanks for reading along. This is such a terrifying lesson. I'm so sorry for what happened to you, OP. I hope you don't blame yourself and recover from this as best you can. I think it was a good move to take the money, and it doesn't seem like your ex's business partner will bother you in the future. The fact that this happens to so many women is horrifying. I cannot even imagine how selfish someone has to be to abuse their spouse's trust like this and destroy their lives. I'd even suggest taking up your ex's business partner's offer on the lawsuit, but I understand why you were reluctant. Either way, take care, OP, and good luck with everything. Next story. I, 50, female, have been in a relationship with my husband, 52, male, for several years. We've been married a year and there has been many gift-giving situations throughout. I've always been the one to make things happen. Someone wants something, I figure out how to get it done. I've always been involved in the gift selection process for his children who are both in their mid-late 20s, one male, one female. On my side of the family, we've never done the step words, and as it pertains to them, it's always been the kids or our kids. I've used it in this title in case you feel it's pertinent. So here is my issue. In each of these instances, I do not get a thank you. I barely get a vague acknowledgement. I did get an awkward, thanks, I guess, on one birthday. Gift giving has been mostly initiated, pre-planned by me. I usually enjoy it. I know it's not that the gifts have not been good gifts. I have overheard on more than one occasion one of both of them bragging about what their dad got them and how he's really stepped up his gift-giving game these days. It's hurtful. There's a lot of real estates between a hearty pat on the back and the disrespect I feel. Something in the middle would be nice. I pay attention throughout the year to what they state their current interests are, an item they drool over, causes they like to support, etc. And what I would give for just a look me in the eye thank you sometimes. Most recently, I had a baby shower and there were multiple tables full of gifts from 55 different people. 54 of them gave a thank you. Guess who didn't? The slight was so obvious that another woman turned around, laughed, and said, "They didn't say it, so I will. Thank you." Yeah, not funny, but I'll play it off. It's all good, haha, pregnancy brain. I got excited about gift giving and how much they'll love something, and I just end up feeling lousy afterwards. Honestly, now that I'm typing this out, I realize that they know proper etiquette. It really is that they just don't think it applies to me for some reason. So, AITA for telling their dad that I will never disapprove of any money he wants us to spend on anything he wants to give to his children. I'm just no longer comfortable putting myself in that position when there is so little or no appreciation. I will try to thicken my skin over this and am hopeful that eventually I will resume my current level of active participation. But for now, it's okay to step back, right? Honestly, you really need to look at your husband here. He can set the tone very quickly. Whether it works or not would remain to be seen. But the fact that he's not stepping up on his own is a huge red flag. A lot of AHs in the story, but you ain't one. NTA. NTA, you really need to stick to your guns on this one. Your husband has really failed you and should support you 100% on this. But he will try to guilt you, and so might others. Seriously, don't go buy any gifts for them. Buying them great gifts has certainly not gained even a basic modicum of respect. And that goes for the recipients and for your husband. Some life lessons are best learned the hard way. Next story. My mom married Jason 2 years ago. My sister and stepsister were both 13, female, and I was 14, male. Dad was MIA when my sister and I were babies. Mom's had a few relationships since then, but Jason is the first husband she's had. Jason's daughter is Riley. Riley's mom abandoned her when she was a baby, too. Her mom died at some point, but she only found in November. She'd never met her mom, but it was hard on her. Ever since Riley found out her mom was dead, my mom has been trying to get her more friends to school. She's friends outside of school, but none are actually in school. She wanted my sister to invite Riley into her friendship group, and my sister said no. Riley and my sister do not like each other. From the first time we met, the two of them have had their issues. It bothers Mom that my sister won't let it drop. It started to get seriously tense between my mom and my sister, mostly because my sister was hanging out with her friends one day and Mom asked them if Riley could join in. This was outside of school. And my sister's friends said no, since Riley isn't their friend and because my sister doesn't like her. Mom said my sister didn't mind. My sister said she did mind and she would rather stay alone in her room than hang out with Riley. Mom told her she was turning into a real bully, and Riley was her sister and she should be trying to help her through her difficult time. My sister told Mom they didn't like each other and didn't care about each other, so why would either of them want to help the other? When my sister and I still hung out together after that incident, Mom pulled me up and said I should be blasting my sister and including Riley more. That I should be showing Riley the loyalty I show my sister. I laughed and asked her why she thought I had loyalty for Riley. Mom said of course I do because we're family and she's my younger sister now. And how could I not be loyal to her? That I have always been loyal to my sister. I told Mom because my sister and I are siblings, close siblings as well as friends, and I love her, that I don't have to be loyal to Riley just because I'm loyal to my sister. I told her Riley might be like a daughter to her now, but she's not like a sister to me. She told me I was saying horrible things and I should be better than this. I told her to ask Riley if she's an only child or has siblings. Mom said Riley would of course answer that she has siblings. Newsflash, she doesn't. But Mom and Jason kinda too like to ignore this and act like Riley was so desperate to be siblings with us. Mom told me I should be loyal to both sisters, but especially to the ones who needs me the most right now. Riley in her eyes. She told me I was not being a good big brother and I should be ashamed of myself for dismissing Riley the way I do. AITA? Edit. Adding some stuff I cut because my post was originally too long. Riley and her friends have said my sister is fat. Not to my sister's face, but still in the house. I think that's what made her dislike or target my sister. She probably saw her as an easy target and expected her to be all meek and quiet because of her body shape. She doesn't really come for me at all, but I have told her to leave my sister alone since hearing her and her friends say that about my sister, I know she hasn't stopped talking about my sister like that either. But I only heard it twice after the first time, but I know from how her friends act that they talk shit like that a lot. NTA, you should not be dragged into this matter, especially to reprimand your sister. You aren't the parent or guardian in this situation, so it is wrong for your mother to drag you into this. Plus, relationships can't be forced, and your mom trying to get her to hang out with your sister won't fix the issue. NTA, your mom isn't being a good parent by not listening to her children's feelings and trying to force relationships on them. Your mom isn't being a good parent by trying to shame and badmouth her own children because they do want to be friends with her stepdaughter who also doesn't want to be friends with them. Ask your mom why trying to force your sister to be friends with her stepdaughter is worth your mom ruining her relationship with her own daughter because she doesn't respect your sister's right to choose her own friends. NTA, you can't force these things. Your mom is more likely to drive you further apart with that attitude. Eventually, you and your sister away, you've more chance of developing a bond with her if your mom backs off and lets things naturally develop. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.